My independent boys. I promised myself I wasn't going to let him go free again without putting him in the stroller, but his brother's coming with us this morning, so I'm hoping that'll make it a little bit easier because his brother can chase after him when I'm milking, at least, so that he's always got somebody with him, because yesterday he kept on escaping and I had to stop milking and go grab him and bring him back in the barn until I finally closed the doors. No, we're not starting with the ducks. We got to start with the goats. Come on. Thank you, though. Guys, this way. There's poison ivy right there. Don't go there. Why do you have to mislead him? Send him in the wrong direction. All right. There we go. So we're going to harvest some goldenrod. This is goldenrod. This is what the flower looks like. This is what the leaves and stem look like. It probably grows wild where you live as well. It's pretty much not nationwide, but it grows pretty much everywhere. And as you can see, pollinators love it. It is good for the bees. And it is good for making a tincture or a tea, or even just grinding up the herb and putting it in a capsule and taking it internally for sinus support and allergy help. So we're going to make a tincture with ours. So we're going to go ahead and harvest some. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest the whole top half with the flowers and leaves still attached. And that can be dried out to use in teas, or I can just cut off the tops into small pieces for my tincture. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that into a paper bag. I want to use some of that leaves on the stem, so I'm going to save that too. Shaking off all the bugs as I go. And I'm going to gather a few more heads of blooms, and then I'm going to cut them up into a mason jar and stuff them into the mason jar really good and cover that up with 190 proof grain alcohol. And that's going to sit for a couple of weeks and let it really get all the good stuff out of the herbs. And then I'm going to strain it through a fine mesh and save that tincture for the whole winter, for anytime somebody has sinus issues or allergies or anything. Would you look at that? We thought the tomatoes were done, and I was just looking over here and I saw how much new growth is on all of these tomato plants. It's crazy. And so I said, well, let me go see if there's any tomatoes left. And sure enough, I'm going to throw these in the bag with my goldenrod to bring in the house. Yeah, we'll definitely pick these that are starting to turn, because we don't know how much more time we have before the frost hits. Thank you, Rowan. And put that in my bag. Good job. I'm going to look around and see if I can't find any more in this weedy mess.
I found.
Alright, so I am just going to snip and add to my jar. This is just an old honey jar that I washed the label off of, sort of. And it is good to make sure that you shake these out outside to get any spiders and ants and stuff, or other little crawlers. So I'm doing mostly blooms for my tincture, but I'm also incorporating stems and leaves as well. And I am just going to cut it up. Everything above the ground on the goldenrod or solidago has medicinal properties, so it's good to use all of it. I am going to dry out whatever I don't use today in a tincture, and I'm going to use that as an herb to add to teas when I'm needing extra sinus support. Goldenrod has anti-inflammatory properties, and it also has antimicrobial properties. And it's said to relieve allergies and sinus support, sinus pressure, anything with the upper respiratory, really. It aids in healing it and keeping it healthy. So you can do, as soon as you start to feel a little snuffly, whether it's allergies or a cold, you can take a dropper of the tincture every morning, or you can do it 3 times a day if you're really feeling under the weather. It is a great natural herbal supplement to have on your homestead or your apartment loft in New York City. It doesn't matter. If you have access to Goldenrod, it's a good thing to make yourself. If not, you can purchase a Goldenrod tincture as well from sources. So I'm just going to fill my jar as much as I can. I'm just going to stuff it and stuff it. Keep pressing it down until I can't really fit anymore. And then I'm going to top it off with 190 proof grain alcohol. So you can use Everclear. You can use vodka too, but if you're going to use something with a lower alcohol, like vodka, it is better to dry the herb first so that the moisture doesn't cause a potential hazard. So the nice part about the strong alcohol is I can go ahead and make it right now today without waiting. Sounds like I have a fight to go break up in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish stuffing this into my jar and cover it with the alcohol. And I'm going to cover it with the alcohol, and then that is going to tincture for 2 weeks at least. So 2 weeks at minimum. And then I can strain off all of that alcohol, and it is now my tincture. We're just feeding the chicks that aren't really chicks anymore their second helping for the day, and I was just laughing at this one that climbed up inside the feeder. Smart cookie. That might be one that I want to watch as time goes on. That's so funny. They're just ravenous beasts. We think we lost one. There were feathers outside the coop one day, and it looked like quite a few feathers, and I'm not sure how, but it seemed like when we tried to count them that we were down one. So I don't know if it got in from underneath, because we don't have, wires going down under the ground with chicken tractors, but we've never had that issue before. But it could have been pretty tempting with these guys being so small that a smaller predator could have gotten under it and got them. So hopefully that won't happen again. We're making sure that we check the edges as we replace the tractor in a new spot. I just love watching them. They're so pretty. I'm going to go walk over here and check on the ducks and the goats. You want to come with me? You too busy playing in the sand? Come on. Damn, you want to come with Mommy? No? Okay. I'll be right here. I have some fantastic news. Our ducks, or at least one of them, has begun laying eggs. I kept telling Ryan it'll be any day now. These guys should start laying eggs for us, except for those 2 little ones in the back you see there. Those were rescued more recently and were just babies. But the rest of them are about the same age and should be laying eggs. And we've had, the last 4 days, we have had an egg in here. So I suspect it's one hen that has begun laying, and she's laying every day. So that's pretty cool. And just from seeing Muscovy eggs before, I think it's one of the Muscovies. So I'm excited. We're going to have to make some yummy duck recipes, maybe some pasta or something. Oh, the richness of the duck egg is going to be so wonderful. Such a nice break. You see that drake? You see him taunting that girl. We know that's our one boy. We don't know of anybody else that's definitely a boy. That one looks like a girl. That one looks like a girl. And then the Muscovies are harder to tell, but they all seem to be girls. We haven't seen any that have a redder, bulbous face that's more pronounced than the others, nor are any of them bigger than the others. So we'll see. Still hard to tell what those two are going to turn out as either. Jeez, Rowan just yelled over there and scared me. Goats over here are in pure heaven. We set them up on this ridge where they've got this upper area and the lower area in between the house, the old house, and the fire pit. We're actually in the fire pit area. Willow and Fancy are over there. But they are loving all that privet. You see how you can see through there on the bottom, but not on the top? That was so thick you couldn't see through it. They have eaten all those lower leaves, and I saw them reaching down and getting leaves from the upper branches as well. They love it. When I go to take them in, I notice that there's still a complete full bucket of hay, because they're like, we don't need to eat any hay out here today because we've got lots of privet. Right, Eugene? Eugene's a big lover. All my goats are lovers. Sweet, happy babies. The babies are still getting used to us, but sounds like they're fighting.